Good evening. It is 6 p.m. This is the regular business meeting of the Sandwich School Committee of October 22nd, 2025. We will begin, as always, with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Just a reminder, members of the public can listen and watch this meeting on Sandwich Community Television via live stream on www.sandwichtv.org and the Sandwich Community TV Education Channel 8. We will begin with our first public forum of the evening. Would anybody like to come forward to speak at public forum? Okay, gave you a chance. We'll move on to the student representative report. Long time no see. Paula.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys had a great past hour. I don't know, I feel like some pretty cool kids were in here, talking to all of you guys. Let's get started on the school reports. So far, there have been lots of positive things from all three of the schools. From Forestdale, they had lots of positive feedback about the bus evacuations that they've had. I remember just being so excited to jump out the doors from the back. So I'm sure there are lots of kids that were excited to do that as well. So the safety is so important. So they've had lots of positive feedback from that. They had after school care, and that fall session has started recently. So if any parents are they work later and they can't pick up their kid right when school ends, and they can sign them up for that. And I also know it's a lot of the high schoolers also run it. So as we were talking about earlier, it creates that peer-to-peer connection. And while it's just high schoolers and Forestdale kids, they still have somewhat of a bond with them, and the kids love it. They've had parent-teacher conferences recently, which just updates the parents on what they're learning at their school, everything that they're doing, and they've come up with lots of interesting ways to showcase their work. They also have the fun run, which is it's every year. It's the it's the fundraising event. So I know that lots of students have been where they had lots of fun at that, because fun run. Sorry, that was a hit and a miss, but it's okay. They also had a ride, walk, roll to school event, which was when, I might be recalling this poorly, but I'm pretty sure it's when they just were showing when different ways of transporting to school, and kind of encouraging that for the students. And then they have their Halloween parade coming up, which the date might be moved, so they don't know when it is, but it's coming up, I think, next week or the week after, but they'll just have to see, depending on weather, when it'll be. So lots of fun things for Forestdale. For Oak Ridge, they've had lots of concerts recently of different groups coming in, and then fourth grade also has their concert coming up. So it's they get inspired, and then we'll be able to hear their voices. I remember being in chorus and thinking that I had such a beautiful voice. I'm glad I did not continue singing, or else that would not be good for anyone. So, but I know that lots of the kids are very excited for that. A lot of the past teachers from Oak Ridge actually from Forestdale came to Oak Ridge, especially the second grade teachers, and it's so exciting to see familiar faces, especially when although the transition to Forestdale to Oak Ridge is the same school and everything, it's still having that familiar face that you can recall on just beginning the school year. And I know that a lot of the students get very excited just to see their old teachers and bond with them and connect with them. And they also have the fun run. They had the fun run. So, and then for high school, we had homecoming October 8th, which was, I sadly couldn't go, not because I didn't want to, but it was because I had an event that I had to attend. But recently, like, we were kind of a little bit nervous about the attendance of homecoming and like how many people would go, but at the end, like, it picked up and a lot of kids had lots of fun. Like, usually we always have an issue of people asking to leave early, but that didn't happen. I think it was like 1 or 2 kids that asked. We had like snacks, and we kind of divided the gym, which everyone said like felt like they helped a lot. So that's like one good thing. Like, we're shifting in like a positive direction with like our culture and like school events, and kind of having like a positive like feedback around them. So we were very like happy about that. Even the pep rally, I know that it was a little bit like last minute because of advisor changes, but still, like, all the students said that it was good. Like, and I know they have a spirit week coming up, so we couldn't have one last week, but they're planning to do one soon, to just like, again, like, have that school spirit. So that'll be very exciting. And on the day of the pep rally, a couple students from Science National Honor Society went to Harvard Medical School for a field trip, which was so cool because we got to go in, kind of talk to them about what it would be like. We went through some cases and just did that. There was this little patient simulation, and her name was Molly, and she had food poisoning, and we got to they talk to you, they move. It's like really cool. And they brought that up that like a lot of high school students actually like come, like they have like a pathways program. So like we even like possibly introduce like for our biomedical science like pathway, like having that as an option, like a field trip, like even though there is the distance, but like once a semester or something, go there and like kind of be able to like be in that scenario, because it was honestly such a cool experience. Seniors also went through Credit for Life, which was when we get like, we kind of have like money and we just have to be financially responsible. We go through like, it's like different stations, it's like the bank, the like what you're gonna buy like for like housing, like college, and like any like thing like fun you want to do. So it's just like when students, like, I feel like that helps because, I mean, we're all going to be independent soon. So just like knowing how to financially be responsible is very helpful. And then we've had a couple guest speakers soon. Recently, one of them was Zoe Campos. She's a graduate of San Diego High School, and she kind of spoke on her career in the computer science field, and how like she's been like using that and like creating new inventions. And this was, I think, by the Computer Science National Honor Society, so they hosted this event. I know other honor societies also host events like these, like science does it all the time, and I think they're trying to get like other subject-based honor societies to do as well, just to kind of like highlight, like, if you're going into like science, you don't just have to have like one straight pathway. Like you can branch out to so many different careers, and like kind of the same thing for computer science or like English or history. Like it's not necessarily like one fit category, and like having that exposure to students and like talking to someone who's in that field helps them a lot, especially like seniors or juniors who are like kind of trying, like they're thinking about like what they want to do in their future. And then lastly, Jody Conway was a guest speaker. She's a financial advisor, and she talked a lot about financial aid, just for like junior and senior parents, because financial aid is so exciting for colleges. So she kind of just gave some advice on that, kind of like gave a run through of like what it is, like what's about, especially for like first-time parents. Like it's like their first kid going to college, and it's like you don't know what's exactly to expect. So it's very impactful and informational for them as well. So that's what's been happening at a couple of schools. Do you guys have any questions? Yes.
Mr. Fisher.
When is the Halloween parade?
They don't have like a final date on it yet. That's what they said because of weather. So like, I think it was, I feel like I'm gonna say the wrong date, but they said depending on weather.
Does it occur during school?
I think so, yeah.
At Forestdale?
Forestdale.
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Because there was a school in Barnstable that had it for years, had a Halloween parade, and they canceled it because a new principal came in and said it wasn't educational. But not everything has to be educational. I mean, actually, many things like Halloween parades and recess are very educational.
Yeah.
So, good, I hope it runs good.
I don't think Mr. D will cancel it.
No.
That's a very safe bet. I'm just looking at my calendar right
Sure, it's the end of next week, based on the,
Yeah, I
look
think
at the
it is,
forecast.
yeah.
Guys, if it's on Halloween,
Probably on
Halloween's on
Halloween.
Yeah.
Friday,
Yeah.
and typically it occurs in the morning.
Yeah.
No, it's a parade that goes through the levels, through the floors, and through the hallways.
Why do you need, how
If
does
I
it
had my
depend on the
laptop, I
weather?
could show you a whole series of pictures.
How does it depend on the weather?
I don't think it does, actually.
Okay.
I'm not sure, though.
I'm sure it'll go off without a hitch.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will. I just wanted to comment, I was able to attend that Jody Conway financial aid presentation. It was really helpful. She has a website too, and she offers free webinars. She offers like a free 15-minute consultation. You can sign up for her services, but she did a great job. So and it was well attended. So
Yeah.
thank you for mentioning that, Shreya.
Of course.
Anyone else? You mentioned the homecoming. My very scientific poll of 1 said it was the best homecoming in a person I know's 4 years. And that specifically, sectioning off the gym
Yeah.
made a huge difference. So there's a
Yeah.
lesson learned for the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys
Good to
so
see you
much.
as always. And just for the general public, she made reference to meeting with us earlier. Prior to this meeting, we had a meeting with the Student Advisory Council to the school committee. The school committee meets with a number of students from the high school every other month where we get direct feedback on things going on and issues they want to raise to us. So that's what she was talking about there. Next up is the Playbook Initiative.
No, we need to, don't we need, the playbook. Okay,
What's that?
sorry. I was thinking, I was jumping ahead to the minutes.
If you could just, good evening, if you could just make sure you kind of lean in a little bit and your green light's on so people, because this is being recorded so people can hear you at home.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Giada, and I'm in 8th grade at Sandwich Middle High School. I'm a member of the Playbook Initiative. The Playbook Initiative is a youth-led program that seeks to discuss real-life scenarios with respect to discrimination and bias. Playbook Initiative is sponsored by the Boston Celtics and Project 351. We've been participating in this program since January of last school year. We learned through this experience that communication is extremely important in our everyday lives because not everyone thinks the same about important topics that affect our lives. Playbook tries to open communication between people so that we are united rather than divided. In such a polarizing time, we as a community need to stand together and ensure safety and comfort for all who stand against microaggressions and prejudice.
Hi everyone, my name is Leah, and being a part of Playbook, I took part in multiple workshops with our high school facultators Shreya Sholka and Peter Milburn. We had 2 workshops with our partner school in Hanover, and 2 workshops here at our own school, Sandwich Middle High School. These workshops were 90 minutes in length, and we ran through different activities such as icebreakers and leadership definitions. We did stuff like agree, disagree, and unsure, where we all split in different sides of the room based on different sentences we either agree, disagree, or unsure with. What we also do is we do scenario discussions that were written by kids about what they saw in their community. And we'd read through those and discuss them. And also what we did is these discussion topics were things such as race, gender, ability, orientation, and sexuality, and cultural and religion.
The main parts of these sessions were the scenario discussions, which were real-life situations that middle school students dealt with. The scenarios gave an opportunity to think about situations and how you would respond before it happens in real life. This way, you are more prepared to do what is right and treat each other with respect. We also wrote down our own scenarios and situations that we've dealt with or encountered. Through the process of writing our own scenarios and sharing them with each other, we understand each other's perspectives about what everyone goes through and how no one is alone in any situation.
As a part of the program, we collaborated with a partner school in Hanover to get their perspective on the same type of topics. For one workshop, we went over there, and another one, they came over here. This helped us get a different perspective from kids of other communities. It was interesting to go to another school and talk to kids our own age about what they experienced.
As a part of the Playbook program and the continuation of the program, we as a body of students want to extend the education that we received to younger grades based in Oak Ridge. To ensure that our school community is the safest and welcoming it can be, we need to start educating younger students about these topics. We hope to work together with the admin team at Oak Ridge and go to Oak Ridge a few times this year to lead scenario-based discussions on each of the 5 pillars. These discussions would be tailored to each grade level and would be based upon their age group. Having these discussions will help them think of ways to react in real situations that come up in their lives. These are real-life scenarios, and we believe that the right tools can make an everlasting impact.
We believe the implementation of such program will be extremely beneficial to ensure our community is united and educated. We hope to have your support in these next steps and are extremely grateful that you have taken the time to listen to our voices and our opinions. Thank you, and we are excited for the next steps. If you have any questions or comments, we will gladly accept them.
Okay. Well, first off, exceptionally well done. You both, I mean, to come up here and speak to us and on video and all that, it's not the easiest thing, and I'll just compliment you both. I appreciate everything you said, but the way you presented yourselves was awesome. And with that, I'll open it to the table if there's any questions or anything the superintendent wants to add.
Let me echo what Mr. Thoreau just said. Outstanding job. I'm super proud of both of you guys, as I am with Shreya and Peter as well. Talk to us a little bit. It's great. It's almost like perfect that you guys are presenting because the Student Advisory Council talked a lot about issues around bullying, issues around microaggressions, and so on. Talk to us a little bit about your work, and this is relatively new work with the Playbook Initiative, and how you feel like, why is it so important to continue this work, and what do you think will be most effective in kind of working with younger students at Oak Ridge?
Do you want to answer? I can answer if you want.
I can answer. Yeah, so we currently are just working a lot on planning these trips and seeing if we can go to Oak Ridge. And when we get to Oak Ridge, the plan is kind of just do the same scenario discussions that we had, but basing it off their grade levels in the way where it's 6th grade, maybe it's more about bullying and sexual orientation and that, rather than 4th grade, maybe it's about how you treat people and prejudice to other societies and cultures. It's going to be I think it'll very much affect the way that they're thinking in their minds, rather than just hearing it from teachers, because hearing it from teachers can just be well, they're older and they don't really get it like the kids do. But when you're hearing it from kids that are not much older than you, even though it seems so much older because of the grade levels, but when they're not that much older than you, I think it would just make much more of an impact than just the teachers saying it to them.
I definitely agree with what Giada said, and I definitely want to educate younger grade levels for as they move up, because I feel like each grade you learn something new, and you have new students coming in all the time who may not be the same as what you're used to. And I feel like if we can educate them a little bit more on how to accept these changes and how to take it respectfully at their own pace, I feel like would be beneficial to not just them, but their school community.
You guys did the work last year at Oak Ridge, correct?
We did not.
You did
because
not.
we were in 7th grade. I think the 8th graders
Okay.
might
or
have
ninth
gone,
grade.
but the high schoolers, I think they went.
Because I was going to ask, did you feel, but you obviously can't answer that, and maybe it's better for Shreya and Peter, but did you feel like the Oak Ridge students were receptive and there was an openness to it and so on?
I feel like they're definitely like the students that we had like discussions with, like when we were in the main group, were definitely like open to like the whole idea and the whole program. The way that the playbook is based, it's not like you just start, because like these conversations definitely are like uncomfortable, and like the way that we structure it, it's that like we like slowly like get into it. So it's like the beginning. I forget. Did we do the FB? Yeah. So it's just like an icebreaker, and like it kind of like has like small ideas of like perspective of like different people's experiences like incorporated in them. So the way that the playbook has structured it, like it's very like you kind of become more comfortable in the environment that you're in. So like I feel like the students were very like open to.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would say that like the lower the grade level, the higher the energy. You know, like when we work with middle schoolers or even high schoolers, sometimes it can be awkward and uncomfortable, and like energy is low. But like Oak Ridge kids, we got there, and like it was almost chaotic how excited they were to learn, and like that was super like reassuring. So.
Any questions from the table? Ms. Goodwin.
Just a comment. I mean, this is amazing that you are doing this, and hearing you explain it and share it, you're just helping to make such a difference. So thank you.
Anyone else? I was going to make a comment about how the high school seniors made you do all the talking. I'm going to let that go. Thank you both again. Exceptional job. Very interested in everything you're doing. We did talk about some similar topics at the Student Advisory Council, and you're welcome back anytime. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We might have some new members of the Student Advisory Council sitting right here now. In a few years.
Oh, and from the Student Advisory Council, there's leftover pizza, so feel free to grab a slice.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up is review and act on the meeting minutes of our regular business meeting of October 8th, 2025.
I make a motion that we approve the business meeting minutes from October 8th, 2025 as presented. Second.
Motion by Ms. Benenda, second by Ms. Goodwin. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 7-0. Next up is correspondence and announcements. Believe it or not, I have correspondence. It's from the town clerk. It was to me as chair, and it's subject of our colleague, Mr. Fisher's resignation. Just let you all know it. This is how they formally do it. So as he announced last week, or last meeting, he was stepping down. But he's in the official receipt of the letter, resignation of Bert Fisher, effective October 23. Please be advised, in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 109, it's been officially recorded in my office. It needs included a copy. And I think this is important for we all to know, and also for the public. Per Section 434 of the Town Charter, because the vacancy is inside of 8 months before the next election, his seat will remain unfilled until May 7th, 2026 at the annual town election. So we will have a vacant seat for the next few months, and you will be missed, Bert, but we'll talk more about that a little bit later. Any other announcements, or Ms. Benenda?
I have an announcement from the Sandwich Middle High School PTSA. This weekend is the Spooky Nights Community Fundraiser at Heritage Gardens. There's some tickets available still for the Friday night 6:45 entry time. All of the other entry times are sold out. So if you wanted to get tickets, you could go on the Parent Square communication app and click on the link there.
Alexis.
From the PTA, the elementary PTA, they are looking for volunteers who are quarried for the fun run that is happening at Forestdale on Friday the 31st, and then at Oak Ridge, or no, I'm sorry, the 24th. So this Friday is the Forestdale one. They're still looking for volunteers, and then the Oak Ridge fun run is on the 31st, and they also need volunteers for that as well.
Anyone else? I can't believe I didn't mention the Halloween thing, since
Yes, your wife told me.
She didn't trust me. Next up is superintendent's update.
All right, good evening, everybody. Just a couple items. One is interesting and kind of inspirational on some levels. I put in your background notes, there actually was a piece that ran on Channel 7 News last evening. I think we have some local press recognition of this. But on Friday, we had one of our students, Malaya Gonzalez, be honored by the Sandwich Fire Department. And you see a picture here of Malaya and our fire prevention safety officer, Andrew Mandel, and Malaya's mom. I think really literally within the last 10 days or so, there was a flash fire in Malaya's home. And ironically enough, it was literally the day after Officer Mandel and other representatives from the fire department did their fire plan prevention safety program for students at Oak Ridge. And Malaya kind of followed the script to a T as far as calling 911 and having an organized plan, for her sister and dog to evacuate the house safely. So I know I did have the opportunity to speak with Chief Burke and, an email exchange with Officer Mandel. Again, I think it was a nice recognition. They also did a pizza party for Malaya's homeroom. But just to show that sometimes these little things make a big difference, and really the community connection, I think, is extremely important. And, we remain grateful to public safety in our community, and, especially the Sandwich Fire Department. So I just thought I'd point that piece out. So from that, I believe we also have the FY26 budget update.
Good news to bad news?
Yeah, from exciting to boring. Yes, tonight you have the September report in front of you. Still early in the year, there's really no problem areas to discuss right now. Everything looks good. All the salaries in place. Most of our purchasing has started and encumbrances are in place. So there's really nothing different than the other day and then last month. In October, you'll start seeing that large negative in the special ed area start reducing because the circuit breaker is now coming in, so.
You just took my question.
Sorry. Other than that, everything's pretty much in place. So anybody have any questions?
Left everyone speechless. We will be talking, the Finance Subcommittee is going to be meeting before our next meeting at some point to talk about, as the superintendent mentioned, there is, you mentioned do you want to mention, you mentioned this in the Student Advisory Council, didn't mention it here.
Yeah, so we're looking at potentially a very, very challenging budget situation. I don't think it's unique to Sandwich. However, we're looking at what I would characterize as a perfect storm of things that are happening that are going to negatively impact our increase in healthcare insurance. Not only obviously for the school side, but also for the town side. So if you think about kind of some of the pieces that are playing out honestly nationally with the government shutdown and the loss of the Affordable Care Act subsidies, one of the consequences is for paying customers, those increases are going to be felt. However, in looking at our community's usage, also the increased price of prescription medication and so on, we got some negative news within the last week or so with regard to the rate increase for retirees. We won't know what that rate increase is until January for all of the active employees, but it's looking a little bit ominous right now. So we've got some challenges in figuring out FY27.
So while we don't have the specifics, or at least we're not going to be blindsided in late November. We know that, there's a train coming. The rate increase that they're talking about is in the double digits. I think the number I saw was 12%. Whether that stays accurate or it goes up slightly or down slightly, time will tell. But it's going to be a challenge. So, any questions?
I just had, so was this was for retirees or for the entire
Or
district?
just retirees.
Just
That
retirees.
group is quoted first, and that's
the
not an
12,
estimate,
yeah.
that's a quote.
Yeah, okay.
And, like I said,
0.83.
the lag is probably 8 to 10 weeks for the quote for the rest of them.
For the active employees, okay.
On that cheerful note, anything else? Anything else for you?
I think I'm good.
All right. Next up is old business, school transportation efficiency study. I'll just lead in that I mentioned this a few months back, maybe last spring. We've all seen the buses that seem underfilled. So if you think about how much we spend every year on buses, if there's a way to be more efficient, we'd like to do so. And with that, I turn over to Sue.
So you do have in your packet it's pretty extensive. I think it's all of 31 pages or something, from Alliance Education Associates, and specifically the principal is a gentleman by the name of Rich Labrie. Rich was actually here last March. He was our agent/consultant when we went through the transportation bid process. This is what Rich does. So I don't think we could have somebody with more expertise doing this. But if you look at the proposal to our district, it specifically talks about the scope of work that he would be doing in not a very long period of time. It's probably would be about 8 weeks to do this study so that we would have a report in hand by early January as we're doing the budget deliberations. But I bulleted out what his proposal actually calls for, assessment of our actual vehicles and their capacities. One that's big that Kevin just spoke to, determination of the actual number of student riders, morning, afternoon, over a span of time, versus how many we have scheduled for each bus. The availability of current available transportation tier times, a review of our routes and how they're using buses and vans with the vehicle sizes and configurations. Something that he brought up that we actually had a great debate. As you know, state law is to have mandated transportation for any student that is a mile or further from their school. And he said, Joe, what percentage of students live within a mile? And I kind of shrugged. I thought about your neighborhood and the high school, and I said, I don't think it's a big number. And he's like, Joe, if we actually do a map and we take out a compass and, so he's going to actually do an assessment of that, and we will actually have data. Now, I think it's kind of been the philosophy of the school district that the bus is going by the street and the bus is going by the home en route to the school. Why not pick up the student, which I fully agree with. But I think it would be an interesting data point to see what kind of numbers we're looking at. And he said, it could be as high as 25, 30% of your students are actually within that 1 mile radius. Kind of looking at program locations, school bell schedules, looking at do we have any ongoing transportation-related issues or problems, looking at what specific policies we have in our policy manual around school district transportation, effectiveness of what we do with our routing software. Realize we do use a routing program to schedule the routes, but then honestly they're massaged by our transportation coordinator to meet families' needs. identification of alternative routing scenarios. Could you change the bell scheduling? Could you change tiering, pickup, drop-off times, etc.? And then basically assistance in the implementation, kind of a master set of recommendations, recommendations that we should make to find efficiencies. Realize, as I said in the background notes, I don't think that this type of study has been done for at least 10 years, Michelle?
Yeah, about 10 years.
About 10 years ago, this was done. We have pared it down, even going from FY25 to FY26. We've gone from 20 buses to 19. Okay, so that's a savings. I think we've got to, I think as a committee, we need to call all of this data and kind of use it to make an informed decision. I think honestly, we're not going to have a situation where we're going to say, oh, we're going to cut 5 additional buses, because you've got the reality of the geographic size of our community, but then also taking into account how long a student is going to be on a bus. We don't want students, particularly our younger students, riding an hour or something to that effect. So as I say in the background notes, again, I'm optimistic that we could have a compressed 8 weeks and we can have a report in hand in January. The cost of the proposal is, he puts a maximum amount on it of $49.95 for to do the whole study. And as I said, from the efficiencies that we found in cutting down 1 bus, we do have the funding to appropriate towards this study.
So no formal
Question.
vote needed to do this or anything like that, because it's coming out of the transportation, existing transportation budget. But Mr. Fisher.
Question. It's going to cost us $5,000. Is he going to save us $5,000?
Quite possibly, yes.
Not quite possibly.
No, if you cut a bus, which is, I think it would easily be done, that's about $100,000 worth of savings.
100,000?
Per bus? Yeah,
180 days.
yeah.
Okay. Never mind.
Lots of pieces and parts to this that whenever we get this, I go back to, like I asked this, I've seen in the afternoons, or I don't, buses leaving with, I don't, some of it because, I see the high school. It might be because they're at sports and things.
Most districts are like that. Most districts are running empty buses.
Right, and it's because there's a large number of parents do drop off, and so there's lots of moving parts. But what we need to do is, if we have this, we can make informed decisions and not base decisions off assumptions and things like that. I think this is pretty short money with the potential for a pretty high ROI. So, any other questions, thoughts? Thanks for chasing this down. I do appreciate it. Other topics not appreciated reasonably anticipated by the chair. I have none. New business. You're all going to be very disappointed. I have nothing anticipated by the chair. So we move on to subcommittee reports. First up is the policy subcommittee, first reading of the F folder policies. Madam Chair.
Still getting used to that. So in your packet, you should have the F folder policies for your first reading. I assume that we'll have this on the agenda to vote on at our next meeting. This doesn't include some policies related to naming of facilities, memorials, etc. I know that was something that came up in years past, so the committee just worked a little bit to shore up some of that language, make sure things were clear going forward. Past that, no major changes. Any questions from anybody?
We always put this on as a first reading and a second reading to really encourage folks to actually go in there and review them. Our 3 main missions are hire, fire, and supervise the superintendent, pass a budget, and set policy. So this is one of our, the triad, this is one of our major functions. So please take the time to review them, and we'll put it to a final vote without our illustrious colleague in a meeting to meet in the future. So, any thoughts, questions on that one? Okay. And the CT one.
Sure. This is a policy that every district in the Commonwealth is required to review and approve. Like I said in the background notes, this isn't something that would appear in the school committee policy manual, but rather in the Sandwich Middle High School Student Family Handbook. And this is part of the grand bargain, and I don't know if you've caught this in the news last spring, but the state recently changed the admissions policy for career and technical education schools, vocational schools, so that basically to ensure more equity by having a lottery type system. So part of that grand bargain was to have sending districts also craft policy around what are you doing around middle school career exploration, but what are you doing to ensure that you are promoting CTE or vocational programs to middle school students. So what you see here in this policy, which is a little bit template, but Dr. Quinn has worked on this to make it germane to the middle high school and also the programs that are offered at Upper Cape Tech. Talks about what career pathways that we have at Sandwich Middle High School, but then what we will be doing with respect to our partnership with Upper Cape Tech to inform students and their families about the offerings that are there, and then also what we will be doing with our grades 7 and 8 students with respect to middle school career exploration.
Question.
Mr. Fisher.
If we vote to approve this, are we voting to approve the fact that they're going to pick kids randomly? Because having been a vocational teacher, we would get applications, and we would based on attendance, discipline, and grades. And so the quality of the students was based on the judgment of what they applied to. Now you're going to have random kids by lottery, apparently lottery, coming in. And I know the vocational schools are very much against this, but if we vote to approve it, are we going along with that policy?
Absolutely not. What your vote for this policy, Bert, is just about our local responsibility to inform students and families.
It's what we're doing.
What we're doing.
We're not sitting there saying, yes, we like the way they're doing this.
That's not our purview. How they do it.
Correct. I would note it's not a completely random lottery. It's actually a weighted lottery. So essentially, they still will be looking at attendance and disciplinary records, and that will be part of the weighting that determines, so to speak, how many balls a student would get towards the lottery system.
Yeah, we didn't count grades that highly because we figured if a student came into a vocational school, his attendance was critical, discipline was critical, and since he was going to a different type of school, the grades, which wasn't, I mean, there's certainly a 50% part that's academic, but the 50% part that's vocational is a difference. So I know the vocational schools are really against this, but I get it that
The policy talks about how our district would provide that information to them for part of whatever review they do.
Yeah.
So first, I'll take a motion to waive the second reading. part of it is we do have the intent is to have this in the handbook by November 1st.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to waive the second reading of the approval of the MS Career Pathway and CTE policy, whatever that means.
Motion by Mr. Fisher, second by Ms. Goodwin. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Passed unanimously. Next up is, I'll entertain a motion to approve the MS Career Pathway CTE policy.
I make a motion that we approve the MS Career Pathway CTE policy as presented.
Motion by Ms. Menendez, second by Ms. Goodwin. Any discussion? I will just note, Mr. Fisher, Ms. Menendez waited for you. She thought you were going to do it.
I did. I
All in
was
favor?
waiting.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 7-0. That is done.
I didn't want to hog it.
Mr. Chair.
Go on a blaze of glory.
It's your night, Bert.
Next up is Liaison Advisory Committee reports.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just want to
Sorry, sir.
credit where it's credit due. This was the work of the Sandwich Middle High School administration team and school counseling department. I was recognized by Dr. Marushek, but I want to make sure that the people who worked on it in conjunction with me were recognized as well.
Thank you. I didn't see you sneak up here. I was looking over here. Very stealthy. Liaison Advisory reports, Ms. Menendez.
I just have one. There's going to be a CPAC, Special Ed Parent Advisory Committee meeting on Tuesday, November 4th at the Oak Ridge School Library from 6 to 8, and we'll be welcoming Jennifer Healy, our new Director of Pupil Services. It's a meet and greet. It's going to give a brief overview as well of the basic rights of your child's IEP that we do every year, and she's going to present it for us. So November 4th, 6 to 8 p.m.
Anyone else? Ms. Higgins.
Cape Cod Collaborative met last Wednesday, and the elementary and secondary board, they had approved timeout practices in schools through DESE. They have started strategic planning sessions that are coming up, and they're going to be working with staff on the new timeout regulation trainings. They're doing CPR on half days, and they're working on behavior plans, and yeah. Oh, they also had 3 referrals for out-of-district placement. I don't know which districts those were, but they did have 3 referrals.
Okay. Anyone else? I got 2. We did have a safety committee meeting last week. The superintendent was out of the office, and the assistant superintendent ran a superly efficient meeting as compared to the soup. But we did talk about some communications technology for the teachers to make sure if the event of any type of incident where they need to alert every room, the best way to do that, they're looking at a couple, they're going to be testing some different options, and also future planning for future drills and exercises as we continue the constant preparation to be ready for whatever might come our way. So I thank Dr. Quinn for leading that in the soup's absence. Also, believe it or not, I sit on the MIAA basketball committee. The MIAA has a committee for each individual sport. It's mostly principals and athletic directors and coaches, but there's a school committee rep to every sport, to every committee. And a couple years ago, I threw my hat in, and there was on it. The one thing that of note I would mention, you sometimes hear, or if you have kids in high school, you hear about high school sports and power rankings. Like the field hockey team is ranked number 2 right now. All those rankings are a combination of a win-loss record, but also a point differential on those wins. And then it's a combination of your team and then your opponent's basically strength of schedule, if you will. A lot of discussion about the how point differential, I'll give you an example. Football, the max point differential is 14. So a team could be up by 7, 30 seconds left on the clock, they're on the opponent's 2-yard line. The good sportsmanship thing to do would be to take a knee and run out the clock. But if they want to have that max point differential, they're going to try to get a touchdown. Kind of antithetical to educational athletics and things like that. It's been a very passionate thing amongst the basketball committee. For basketball, it's 10. They actually did a study if they took it from 10 all the way down to 1 at every increment. We didn't get to 0. We did push a motion forward to the tournament committee, which sets these. We got it down to 6. So it's not 1, which is ideally what it should be. They found that if you reduced it to 6, it would only would have changed 1 team out of 10 divisions, boys and girls. And when you think about that, one, there's a sportsmanship piece, but in some cases, you might have coaches managing to the score rather than managing to the win, and that might mean a kid doesn't get in a game that it might otherwise. There's a lot of impacts. So not what we were hoping for. We didn't think we'd get to 0, but so it was a step in the right direction. Hopefully that creates the impetus amongst other sports to do the same. I was really refreshed to hear that from the coaches. It was the coaches and the ADs that were pushing for it on behalf of their student athletes. So sorry for the long-winded there, but thing that happens behind the scenes, but I thought that was kind of a win. So with that, next up is warrants.
I make a motion that we approve the warrants that were signed tonight. Second.
Motion by Ms. Benenda, second by Mr. Fisher. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Passes 7-0. Next up is our second public forum of the evening. Would anybody like to come forward for public forum? And your friend and mine, Mr. Holden's coming forward. You can get her. I think she has it written down by now.
Good evening.
Evening, Mr. Holden.
Charlie Holden, 35 Lakeview Drive, the liaison from the Select Board to the school committee. I would just like to take this public opportunity to thank Mr. Fisher for his interest in the Sandwich Public Schools and his service to the Sandwich School Committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Holden. Anybody else like to come forward to public forum? Seeing none. Next up is future agenda items. Seeing none. Acknowledgements and closing remarks. I'll just say we are closing in on, well, we do have an exec session to follow, but this will be our colleague, Mr. Fisher's last school committee meeting with his resignation effective tomorrow. You've been on the board since... I think I remember that. I joined you shortly thereafter in August. Well, well, I will to kind of echo Mr. Holden's sentiments. Thank you. In this day and age, there's a lot of people that are merely spectators in their community. A lot of people just sit behind their computer and comment on Facebook, though you do that as well. Not everyone steps forward and serves and dedicates the time and effort to serve. And I just want to say personally, thank you for doing that.
Yeah. I just wanted to thank you, Bert. Like I said at the last meeting, that was run really efficiently when someone else wasn't here, just like, yes. Anyways, Bert, I wanted to really thank you. You brought a lot to the table, and it's not easy putting yourself out there, and you got reelected and reelected. So that's, it's wonderful. And you brought a lot of knowledge to the negotiations table, and I really enjoyed, we spent a lot of hours together. So thank you. And thank you for being on the wiffle ball team a few years ago. That was fun too. That's all right. If we have a team next year, you can come back and do it.
So apparently, the assistant superintendent and the vice chair are much more efficient than the chair and the superintendent.
Clearly.
And with that, Bert, we have a little going away gift to thank you for all your efforts.
Open the bag. I think the bag is much more up your wheelhouse.
Oh, we remember this, don't we? From the birthday. Good packing. I buy and sell radio equipment. So I really appreciate the packing.
Ooh, you can pack a lot of radio stuff.
And I will wear this when I run for Dennis School Committee. I will wear that when I run for, I may run, I don't know. You know, I'm 80 now, so you get although I with it. So thank you very much.
And the floor is yours for any closing remarks.
I'd like to say, I really appreciate the members of this committee okay. The members of the committee are probably the most caring group, one of the most caring groups I've been involved with, because you all care about the kids, number one. You care about the kids, number one. I can't think of a time when anyone here has voted in their own interest. And I can appreciate that, having observed from the union side, the Cape Tech School Committee, there were numerous times, there were numerous times, but probably a very small general percentage, when some people did vote in their own interest. And I really appreciate being the two great school systems on the Cape, this one and the Nauset system, which I still substitute in. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate having been on this committee. I get comments now and then, and I sometimes make Facebook comments that probably go a little bit beyond. But speaking of the negotiation committee, having been on both sides, the union side and the school committee side, I did appreciate being there. And Dr. Maruschek did an excellent job in negotiations. He kind of helped us and guided us. And you know, I know him from a school committee side, but I also know him from a personal side. And he is very caring about people. Occasionally we joke, but he never makes a joke that is off color. He's a total professional, and I really appreciate that. And since I'm going to be living near the beach, I will invite you at a later time to come and run down there while I bike alongside you. But thank you.
Again, Bert, a lot of people will sit and comment, and it takes a lot for someone to step forward and serve, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And with that, that said, your work is not quite done, and with that, I'll take a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn to executive session per Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30A, Section 21, for reason number 1, to hold a Level 3 grievance hearing from the Sandwich Educators Association. The committee will not reconvene in open session. The next regular business meeting will be November 5th at 6 p.m., which will be our regular business meeting right here at Sandwich Town Hall.
Motion by Mr. Fisher. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Benenda. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? We are 7-0. We will adjourn, and we will shift to executive session. Thank you very much. We'll see you on the 5th.